Hey there, my name is Dan Scott, and this is one video from my larger Adobe XD course, which you can check out on bringyourownlaptop.com. You can also go there to download the free exercise files and the free cheat sheet if you like. All right, enjoy the video. Hi there, in this tutorial we're going to get our page started here. We're going to get a page, we're going to get it to have a navigation, we're going to pull it from some of the templates that are built in from XD, and make it look like this. All right, let's get into it and get started in XD. All right, so we've finally got XD open. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to download one of the templates that XD has helpfully made for us. And we're just going to pull parts from that as we work because, they've just made some pre-made wireframes that we can steal parts from to help speed up our process. You can do it by downloading here where it says UI kits. There's an option that says wireframes. Or you can go up to File, UI Kits, and click on them here. And this will just open up Behance. Let's have a look at that. Okay, and in here you can click on Download Kits. Now, I've already downloaded them for you and put them in the exercise file. So if you've downloaded the exercise files, they'll be there ready to go. Let's jump back into XD. So in here in XD, let's open that wireframe, go to File, go to Open, and the exercise files that we've downloaded, there's one in there called UI templates. So I've downloaded this wireframes here and we're going to start with web. Now, why are we starting with web and not mobile? This is totally up to your project. Okay, our brief is quite specific. The main targets are going to be using web, the web interface. But if you knew that your project was based primarily for either mobile web use or maybe an app, okay, you would start with mobile. But we're going to start with web and just open it up. All right, first things first is navigating and zooming around. The easiest way is holding down Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and tapping the plus key to zoom in and the minus key to zoom out, nice and easy. A couple of other navigation techniques is holding down spacebar, okay, gives me my hand and I get to kind of move around, okay, if I zoom in a little bit, hold down the spacebar, click, hold, and drag, okay, with my mouse, and that allows me to move around the documents. Now, two other little useful navigation shortcuts, okay, before we get started is holding down Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and tapping the 1 key. Okay, that'll zoom in to 100%. And this is where we should be doing most of our work, okay? Being too far zoomed out and too far zoomed in, okay, and making kind of decisions on font choice and size is not that useful because our users are only ever going to see it at 100%. So it's great to be at this size. So Command 1 or Control 1 if you're on a PC. Last one, I promise, okay, is my favorite is if I select this element here and go Command 3 or Control 3 on a PC, it zooms in and just kind of highlights that one area. I find that super useful. You can do it to the whole artboard as well. So you want to see this artboard, you can click on the name along the top, Command 3, and it will center it in your view. All right, so that's the basic navigation. What we're going to do is create our own document now. So we're going to go to File, we're going to go to New. There are some defaults along here. Okay, you can hit this little drop down to find other options. It really depends on what you want to do. I like starting websites with this 920 across by 1080 high. You can type in a custom size over here, or if you're obviously working with iPhones or iPads, you can use those by default. Okay, so I'm going to use this guy, click on it. Okay, so we're going to save this one, go to File, Save, and we're going to put all of our files for this class onto our desktop. I'm going to make a new folder, and this one's going to be called Instructor HQ, and we're going to call this file Instructor HQ, we'll call it Prototype, and we'll call this one V1. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is let's name our artboard. So you just double click the words over here. We're going to call this one homepage. Now, if you're a person like me who never names your layers in Photoshop or Illustrator, you've got layer like 57, okay, and it's got no name. Naming your artboards here in XD becomes super useful when we start prototyping this later on. So yeah, get in the habit. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out, okay, and I'm going to make my artboard quite long. Now, because I have nothing on my page and nothing selected, I just default to the artboard. There is an artboard tool, okay, that you could use if you want to be official, but because I have nothing else on my page, I can just easily update the artboard. You'll notice here, this dotted line, okay, this is just a nice little visual guide here to show you what the initial viewport is, or say above the fold. This just means everything above here is the stuff that people are going to see first on your web page. Everything under here is going to be stuff they have to scroll for. So here is where the magic needs to happen. You need to do your selling, your main convincing, your call to action all above this dotted line here. You can adjust this initial viewpoint if you think that is too tall or too small. All right, so first of all, we're gonna go and steal some parts off that template. Okay, so we're gonna jump to it. You can go to Window and toggle between them here. So that's jumping between this one and this one. Okay, it's up to you. I use Command tilde on Mac. Tilde is the weird wave key above your tab key. Okay, on a PC, I think it's Control Tab, just toggles between them. So I do a lot of jumping between that way. Okay, so what I want now is I want one of these navigation elements. So I'm just gonna pick the one that closest resembles my hand-drawn mock-up, and it's probably this one here. So I'm gonna click it once, go to copy, so edit copy, and I'm gonna jump across to my design, okay, and I'm gonna go to paste. So what I want to do is I'm gonna use my black arrow, and the nice thing about it, I'm gonna try and get it in the center, but you watch XD, it's clever, kind of knows the center, you can see there, picks it. Stick it to the top. Now, when we're designing this, I picked a size, okay, if I click on the edge here, we click on the names the easiest way, okay, it gives me my document settings, or my artboard settings, and we've picked 1920 across, okay. I never want to design a site that big, especially for my wireframes, okay. I picked this size because I like to use the size here of 1400 across to do my website, but I like to have these extra edges here just so that I'm not trying to design within a tiny box. This is here is just kind of like buffer area so that, yeah, I can see what it looks like on potentially a larger screen. So what I also like to do is extend my nav along because it's going to be across the top. So what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to ungroup this, right click, and you see all the shortcuts here. We'll go through more and more shortcuts as we go along, but ungroup, that shortcut is the same as a lot of other Adobe products. Okay, so I've got this, I'm gonna copy it and paste it. Why? Because I wanna use this just as a, I'm gonna zoom out. I'm using this as a kind of a guide here to show me where I should be designing inside of. Okay, and what I'm gonna do with it, I'm gonna grab the fill and I'm just gonna lower the opacity of this fill right down. Just so it's just as a hint in the background there, okay, to show me where my boundaries are. What I'm also going to do with it is I'm going to lock it so I can't move it. Okay, with it selected, you can either right click and lock it. Okay, there's a couple of ways to getting to lock. Okay, there it is there. I use the shortcuts, Command L on a Mac or Control L on a PC, and you just get this little locking icon. You can unlock it easily by clicking on it. Okay, so that's giving me my width, and it just means I can't move it now. Okay, I can select it, but I can't move it. One of the things I want to do is that it's actually above everything here in my layers. Okay, so when I try and click on my navigation, it's in the way. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag him so he's at the bottom. And you can see there in your layers panel, he's locked. If you can't see your layers, click on this little icon here. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to hold down a little shortcut, hold down the Alt key on a PC or the Option key on a Mac and drag one side. You'll see it kind of goes out both ways. Doesn't really matter how you drag it out, but that's kind of what I want to get started. Okay, I've got a kind of a guide here to know where the center of my website is, and my navigation goes all the way along the top because that's how I plan to have it on my final result, and it just looks kind of nice in my wireframe. All right, so one last thing before we go is that over here in my wireframe, okay, the template you might have noticed and already fixed that you might have fonts missing. Okay, click on the button and you can sync the fonts using Typekit. It's nice and easy, don't ignore it. Okay, and if you can't fix it, don't stress. It'll work just fine with this tutorial if you can't find the fonts. No big drama, but if you can fix those up, and yeah, then we'll move on to the next video. Hey there, please like the video, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as well. If you want the full course for Adobe XD, check out my website, bringyourownlaptop.com. That's it. Bye now.